Go into Canva and I'm going to do a presentation. Ooh, I thought I had proposal. Oh, here we go, proposal. And then I'm going to do a search for Goldfish, and I'm looking for one that's fairly square, because if it's not square, if it's more rounded, it's just going to be harder to do. So I would not do something like this, just because then you're going to have to deal with angles. So this looks like a nice one. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it into Canva and then blow it up. I'm going to go with a different kind of flavor that's not orange. So if I wanted to, I could look for one that's already like the color that I want. Like this one's blue. That's interesting. A lot of my work would be done for me, but just in case you're going to pick a color that isn't on there, I'll not do that, because that's a little bit easier. So to change the color of it, I need to edit my photo. And there are a couple different options for changing it. I could just go to adjust and do some color changes there, or I could use some existing effects. So I'm going to, I want to keep the new editor. Sure, get out of here. There should be an expand, see all. And it's showing me some different variations of what I could choose. This one's pink, and I want to get something that's blue, purple, somewhere in there. So that's a good start to get me where I want. And I'm going to go back, stay on edit photo, and I'm going to go to adjust and change maybe my temperature. That's getting pretty close to blue. That's pretty blue. Problem being my background right now is also blue. So I'm going to stay in edit photo, and I'm going to remove my background. Make sure that you have the Pro version. If you don't, you can talk with me and I can get you St. John's access that has the Pro. So now my background is removed automatically. Pretty slick. But what you notice in the Goldfish homepage is they have one that's purple here, but the Goldfish logo is still gold. So I want this to be as realistic as possible. So I'm going to keep the Goldfish logo as gold. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in again that exact same thing that I copied before. Blow this up to about the same size, and I'm going to crop my photo. So edit photo, crop, and I'm going to crop it down as close as I can to just being the logo. That way I don't have to remove much more than I absolutely have to. And now you can see how I have like my orange logo on top of the blue, but it still looks absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go to edit photo, and I'm going to remove the background just from this. And if it doesn't do much on its own, which I don't anticipate it will, I'm going to have to remove a little bit more on my own. So I clicked on it again, and it gives me an eraser tool, and it brought everything back, and that's just so I can erase it. Now I would spend a little more time on this, getting the details just perfect, but since I'm not going to waste your time on my video, I'm just going to go through fairly quickly what I'm doing. Oh, that looks too miserable. Undo, undo. Stop it, you pile of garbage. We'll roll with it for now. What it's doing is, this is like a PNG file now where there is no background at all. So if I were to save this, just whatever background is behind it is what's going to show up. So I'm just going to fly through so you get the idea. And since I already cropped, I'm not going to have to erase the outer edges of this. I'm just going to have to erase what is not cropped out already. So almost there. That looks good. I can change my brush size. So if I want to zoom in and get really particular, I can. And part of what you're being graded on is this looks realistic. It looks professional. So you might want to zoom in. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We'll leave it for now, and I'll save your time. I click this little back arrow, and you can see since I already cropped it down to this size, I didn't have to crop the stuff that was way up at the top. So it's starting to look there, starting to look close. It still says cheddar right here, and I need to change that to whatever my design is. And you also see that there's like a cheddar cheese that's a blue cheddar cheese down there that looks absolutely disgusting. I'm going to look for whatever my flavor is, and I'm going to go with bubblegum goldfish. Does that sound absolutely miserable? I think so. I'm excited about that. I could copy and paste this. That looks perfect for what I'm looking for, but I doubt that's a PNG file. I might want to do a search for bubblegum PNG, and then the background's already removed. But Canva also does a good job of removing it without help. So I'm going to paste this in, but I'm going to get to this later. Right now I need a flat background that doesn't, I'm going to move that out of the way, that doesn't really have any color to it, to cover up where it says cheddar and the picture of this, and then I'll overlay this on top of that. So I think maybe the best way, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste and I'm going to crop, because it's already got the right colors in what exists. So I'm going to crop this baby down to that tiny little space, and then I'm going to rotate it and I'm going to reuse what they already have. And I'm going to make this really rough because I'm going to try to do it quick for you. And now I'm covering up the words cheddar, but you can also see that there's a very clear box defining this. I don't want that. Luckily, there is a soft edges tool here somewhere, if I can find it. Click on that See All again. Soft. Nope, that's not what I want. Might have to look for it because I don't know that I'm going to spend all the time looking for it, but there's a way that it will round off the edges so you can't see it, and it's not quite so offensive with those strong lines. For now, I'm just going to keep going, and I'll look for it later and see if I can post it later. Again, I'm going to copy and paste my background and cover up the CH here. And do so again on the cheese. Rotate it to fit. Nope, too many different types. Cheese is almost covered up. Copy and paste again. And I'm going back to my bubblegum now, bringing it down, removing my background. It's behind it, so I need to arrange, bring it to the front. That's close to fitting. Okay, there are a few other things that I'd want to do. I'd want to change the look of my goldfish. Right now they're like a disgusting bluish color. So again, I'm going to just keep copying and pasting and cropping that down to just the goldfish and getting the color that I want just for them after I remove the background. So edit photo, remove background. And I'm going to fly through this. Again, you can zoom in. You can use a very fine eraser tool to make sure that this looks good, but I'm going to give you the overview. A little bigger brush size. And since I cropped it, I don't have to erase the entire image, just inside of whatever is cropped. So I have some new goldfish here. I'm going to put them right over top of the old goldfish. Maybe blow them up just a tiny bit. That way it covers up any of the old ones. And I'm going to look for a different color. Let's see. Instead of amethyst, let's go to See All again. That almost looks a little bit pink. Not pink. That's pink. A little bit too dark. Filter it out and use my adjust tool to try to make it a little lighter. But I'll just need to play with it a little bit to try to get to look like the right bubblegum flavor that I'd want. I don't want to play with it too much because, again, I don't want to waste your time, but you're getting the idea. And one of the last things I'm going to do is look for the text that I want that best represents bubblegum. Feeling cute? Sure. Change my size to fit. We're getting close. Bring to front. And then I'd play with the text a little bit, look for different options that I have here. The color looks pretty good, but I can always customize the color. If I went in here and grabbed it, I can click this button, and if there's a color that I really like in the gum, I can click on that and it'll change it to exactly what that is. Getting close to my bubblegum flavor, I want to look at the details and make sure everything looks good. Up here it says cheddar. Obviously I'd want to get rid of that, probably the same way I got rid of some of the other things. I'd probably just take a screenshot of this color and bring that color in. I can do that real quick. Just duplicate, copy this, paste it back in. Almost done. Edit photo, I'm going to crop. Milk flavored. That sounds delectable. All right, I'm going to move this over top where it says cheddar. And then I can grab my bubblegum, copy and paste that, drop it up here, shrink it way down in font size. That's too far. So I'm getting close. To having it done. So obviously there are a couple little things that I could have done to fix it. Could have taken more time with the editing and the cropping, but it almost looks somewhat realistic at a glance. If I spent a little more time making this clean and then rounding off the squares, you've got a shot. When I'm done, I'm going to go to share and download. I'm going to make a transparent background, PNG. I'm going to put the file size as big as possible so it's not pixelated. Hit download, and that's what you'll hand in. So that is the really long version of how to very quickly make your custom Goldfish box.